Hello, welcome to episode 8 of We Don't Talk About Uno podcast, the podcast about Disney Lorcana trading card game. I'm here with my co-host David. How are you doing, David?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good.
That was the first take and I nailed it. I'm so... I've got this podcasting thing down. It's taken me 8 episodes.
I feel like we've been spending a lot of days or even months living in a blur, and now the fog's lifted a little bit.
Hang on. It's Frozen?
No.
Oh, come on. Oh. What movie was that?
We spent all this time never really knowing things the way they were, Simeon.
I still don't know.
Tangled.
Because now I see the light and the vodka somehow... oh, my goodness.
I wouldn't say we've seen the light. I wasn't going to go that far yet, but we've seen a lot more stuff.
Yes, there's a lot more news, Lorcana news out, thanks to the wonderful people at Ravensburger who've put out some press releases. They sent us one, and this was back on the 17th, so this was Tuesday. So I think you've probably seen all of the news already if you're really into this.
If people are listening, they're really into it.
Oh, yeah, if people are listening to this podcast... But David said something recently that I really liked, and that we're more about analysis and discussion, which seeing as, I mean, I'm never going to be uploading a video 2 hours after news has dropped with like a fully thought out thing like some people are doing. Well done to the people who are doing that. So yeah, let's take that as our raison d'etre, what we're doing. Let's do a bit of analysis and discussion.
We're podcasting.
It's almost like it's the perfect medium for some analysis and discussion.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So if you haven't heard, back on the 17th, Ravensburger issued a press release with images announcing the launch of a product lineup. And the product lineup was, if you haven't seen this already, 3 starter decks, a gift set, an Illumineer's Trove, which was basically just a box of booster packs, some booster packs, and they also announced accessories like deck boxes, card sleeves, playmats, and portfolios. So yeah, over the course of the day through social media posts, they also released a load of other information, and we found out about prices and cards, and we looked at a release schedule, and we also saw that they're attending Gen Con. So we're going to talk about all of that today. We're going to try and get in as much as we can, but at the same time, I don't want to, if you want to go and see what's available, just go and look at the Lorcana website, have a look at the IGN article, which was basically just rehashing the press release. And you'll be able to see images of everything. We're not going to be telling you a lot. We're just going to be going into it a bit more and explaining.
Yep, sounds good.
Brilliant. So with that in mind, what have we learned?
Well, I want to talk about the starter decks first. Can we go there?
Yeah, let's do that.
So there are 3 starter decks, and so these are decks that you'll be able to pick up and play with right away. That's my guess anyway. That's what a starter deck is in a trading card game.
Yeah, let's hope so.
So there is an amber and amethyst starter deck, so yellow and purple, and that has Moana and Sorcerer Mickey on the cover.
Thanks for explaining the colours. I still don't know my stones.
There's emerald and ruby, red and green.
You don't sound so sure about those stones. Yeah, emerald and ruby, yeah.
Which is Cruella de Vil, and I had to ask you who the other person is, and I'm not the only one who didn't know what the person is. I've watched release videos of other content creators like, who's this person? I think it might be Aladdin. And it is Aladdin, allegedly. That said, it's a slight reimagining. I didn't recognise Aladdin.
Yeah, he looks a little bit older, a little bit... it looks like we're going to see, like, Aladdin in his role as, I mean, whatever, I don't know, royal consort or whatever his title now is. Now he's married and settled down a bit. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Thief Aladdin. Or maybe we'll see Thief Aladdin in a different form, on a different card. Anyway, so
that would be fun.
That was deck 2.
And deck 3 is blue and grey, which is sapphire and steel, and that has Aurora, also known as Sleeping Beauty, and is that Simba or Mufasa?
I think that's Old Man Simba.
Old Man Simba, so it's Simba.
Yeah, that's the one I'm buying. Bagsy, that one.
That's the one I'm buying, Simeon.
You're buying all of them.
We both, true.
You're buying all of them.
But that's the one I want to play.
Amazing, okay.
And that's the one you want to play. So maybe, is that a thing? Can you play the same deck against the same deck?
Of course, yeah, we will do that. But we'll probably do other cards as well.
Try
that's
them
all good.
We'll certainly be trying them all. Yeah, so those are the decks. Yeah, we were just discussing how just that one grabbed us, like...
Yeah.
But none of them really grabbed me, if you see what I mean. Like, none of them was like, oh yeah, that combination of characters, I'm really excited about that one. It's just that's, out of the three, that's the one I'm most interested in.
Yeah, they don't seem to be very targeted demographic wise. There's not like a classic Disney one and then a 90s kid one and then a more modern Pixar stuff one.
Yeah.
Which is what I thought maybe they'd do if they were, marketing this. Yeah, it is a bit strange that usually when you see these things, there's like a big face character and you buy it. A lot of people will end up buying it for the face character.
Yeah.
And Disney collectors, a lot of them, will buy all of the stuff. I've got a friend who buys every Jack Skellington thing she sees.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, great. That's a thing I don't have, and it's got Jack Skellington on it.
Yeah.
But only of that character, like no one else. And you're left going, okay, that's great. So I do wonder if this is kind of like maybe they want to do more of these, or maybe we'll see a lot of different ones, but they just wanted to spread their bets at the moment of like, there's something for everyone, maybe.
It's spreading the bets, but it could come across as just wishy-washy, like it's not for either person then. Because if you're like into the Lion King and Sleeping Beauty, that's like quite a broad spread. And I know there are Disney lovers that love everything Disney, but yeah.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I am not excited to play a Sleeping Beauty card because that means, that's literally decades before I was born and was already was already old when I was a kid, so I didn't see the value in that.
Yeah.
But for me, that's the one because the blue looks like a really interesting colour. Sorry, amethyst, is it?
Amethyst.
Amethyst blue.
Blue's the best colour in trading card games.
No. Red is. Anyway, but you're totally right in that I'm not super excited. That's the one I want to play first.
Yeah.
But it's not like this is the one that was made for me.
Yeah.
Because then it would have been a couple of 90s characters.
And that makes me a bit nervous about the game taking off. Because this is like if you're going to get into the game, this is your entry point, right? Especially if you've not been into trading card games before. And I'm just wondering, I'm hoping these will appeal to people and that they'll grab somebody's imagination. But for me, I'm just like, I'm not sure.
Yeah, and that is the thing that I think we were already discussed before we hit record, is that this is a relatively steep entry price so the price of these things have all been released. So we should go through them as we talk about the different
stuff. Yeah,
as we talk about different stuff, we'll talk about the prices. But basically, the Mushu report found somewhere online with some prices and published the prices in their article. You can go and look at Mushu report. I don't know, Google it. But then. On Twitter, the official Disney Lorcana confirmed that these are German pricings in euros and that other regions might vary. Anyway, that was a long way of saying these starter decks are $20 or €20 each, which at the moment euros pretty much parity with the dollar, and the pound's only just slightly recovered from the terrible few years we've had. Anyway, so with that in mind, your initial investment. I'm just thinking of being down the school gate and dropping off the child, and one of the child's friend's parents saying to me, "Oh, my kid's been on about this because the child is on about this. What do I need to buy if they want to play this game?"
Yeah,
and I'm probably telling them, "Well, sorry, if you want to play the game at home, you've got to spend $40.
Yeah, to buy the two decks.
To buy,
decks.
If you buy one deck, that's great. They'll be able to play them against their friends if their friends are playing. But if they actually want to play, and that's relatively steep. And if somebody doesn't already have something that they love,
it's the price of a typical modern board game, but it's not the price of Monopoly or a mainstream board game.
Okay, the things that I would say. So I look at other. I love all trading card games.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to get into Pokemon, I think you said you bought the Battle Stadium, is it called? Or
something like that,
Battle Academy, that's what it's called. Yeah, Battle Academy.
Yeah.
So tell us what's in Battle Academy.
You get a board that kind of explains the way that you play the game. So it's a good learning aid, but it's also like it makes it feel like a board game. And then you get 3 starter decks effectively.
Yeah.
And it was the price I paid for, I don't know if this is the usual price, but was the same as what one of these Lorcana starter decks is going to be.
Yeah. So in the UK, that's currently on sale for £20 because I looked at it.
Yeah.
When Flesh and Blood launched, a recent trading card game not aimed at the same demographic, but still a trading card game. Their starter decks you could pick up for a tenner, and you could pick them up for a lot less as well because they printed tons of them, so a lot less money. When you look at what on earth is it called? The Japanese Yu-Gi-Oh! Sorry, oh my goodness, what a brain blank. When you look at Yu-Gi-Oh! Again, you're looking at £10 to £15 for a lot of their starter decks. Really the only trading card game which has comparable pricing for this type of starter would be Magic the Gathering.
Interesting.
And a lot of their decks are more expensive, but that does...
A lot of Magic decks.
Sorry, Magic decks are a lot more expensive than that, as in starter decks and pre-constructed products. But that does to me mean, are we looking at things, and the packaging and the whole vibe, does it mean that these are decks that are, and this is a game that's perhaps being targeted towards the trading card game market, where Disney and Ravensburger have seen what's happening with trading cards and the boom in trading cards in 2020 and gone, we want a slice of that cake. Instead of going, okay, this is a Disney game and it's really kid-friendly. It's being billed as 8+, so I mean, I'd hope it would be friendly for kids. But is this a Disney adult game? I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out. And I guess we'll find out not just what they've designed this for, who they've designed this for, but also who ends up picking it up and playing it.
There's another option rather than it's for kids or it's for trading card game players. And I think you're right that if it was for kids, it would come across differently. It looks like a game for adults, but I think or Disney, or is it for Disney fans or is it for trading card game players? Kids and Disney fans or trading card game players? If I was Ravensburger, I'd have probably wanted it to be for Disney fans and make it a really accessible product and engaging for Disney fans. I'm not sure they've done that in terms of the pricing. So, but you're saying maybe they're going for the trading card game market, but that's really competitive to break into. So many products
we've talked about how many
into this market and
we've talked about how many games fail. How many games go for 2 or 3 years.
So that seems like an odd choice because you've got this whole like what I call from a marketing perspective a blue sea. A blue sea is like empty from they've got a whole space that's open to introduce this stuff to, and it feels like that's not the direction they've gone. Where they could be going, where Ravensburger could be going, is the board gaming market because they're recognised in board games. This is going to be their first trading card game, and their pricing is competitive with other board games, so you can get started with this for other board games. So maybe it's about, for them, saying, look, board games are huge at the minute. Let's introduce board gamers to this. I don't know, but that's
that makes sense coming from a board game, as in, puzzle company, but also a board game. They make a ton of great board games. Okay, so what do you get for your money? I will just run through that quickly. So these cards are 60 card decks, which we're assuming is going to be the standard deck size. More on that in a second.
Makes sense.
You get a foil face. You get 2 foils of the face characters. So in the Simba and Aurora deck, you will get 2 foil cards. One of them will be Simba, one of them will be Aurora. You get a booster pack, which I think is really brilliant.
So that'll be like 12 cards 12 randomized cards that you get in your deck. So then you can maybe upgrade your deck with what you get already immediately to make it unique in your own.
So this is something that when I started playing Magic the Gathering, they had, and it was really exciting. The first time I ever bought a Planeswalker deck, as it was then, which were not the best product, but were great for learning and that kind of thing. But there was a booster pack, or even 2, I think, in the back of there, and you just opened it straight away, and it was super exciting experience. So I think this is a big plus. It also makes the higher price point slightly more palatable in that you're getting a booster as well. So if you're...
It's worth €6. We know that's...
the booster packs are...
€5.99.
So in Germany, those are going to be priced at $5.99 for 12 cards. Anyway, so you'll get a booster pack, and there's also game tokens and the rules in there. So it doesn't mention a battle mat or whatever, kind of like the
boxes don't look big enough to have a mat in them.
Oh, the Pokemon boxes have horrible little folded up pieces of paper.
Oh, I see, like some kind of leaflet.
A leaflet that turns into a gaming mat, which I think is great, which probably means that it's going to have relatively simple zones. This isn't going to be something where you need to lay out a ton of cards, I don't think, or in a specific way. So hopefully that will be the case. And also game tokens. And that's something that in the gift set, we'll come on to the gift set, but in the gift set, it actually mentions two types of tokens. It mentions game tokens and also trackers. So obviously we're going to be counting something, maybe lore, maybe the little icons that are on the card. We don't really know yet, but it is, I think we're learning a bit more about the game.
Yeah, so should we jump into that, what we've learned from this, especially from the starter decks, but from all that's been announced about gameplay implications?
The starter decks has, let's take a break from products and let's talk about the gameplay implications, because pretty much all of those come from the starter decks.
Yeah, one thing we've been pondering over the past few episodes is whether you can put different card types in the same deck. So, for example, heroes and villains. Can they go in the same deck, or do you have a hero deck / a villain deck? It's pretty clear to me from Cruella de Vil being with Aladdin, and maybe even from Moana being with Sorcerer Mickey, that you can have heroes and villains in the same deck.
Yeah, I think that's that is myth squashed, and I was right.
You were right.
Painful. But I feel like a lot of these things, a lot of people online have been looking at deck building restrictions, and I feel like we've seen the deck building restriction. The deck building restriction is that you can only have 2 colours. I think that's going to be the big restriction.
Yeah.
Now, we'll find out how many cards are in decks and how many unique cards you can have and all of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
However, at the moment, I think the big restriction is that we don't need any more restrictions. We also saw, and we talked about this before we switched on as well, we also saw that this the press release says it's over 200 cards in the initial release.
Yeah.
Which means that when we're looking at numbers of cards, and that they've got to be in 6 colours, so they'll probably break those down roughly evenly. There's going to be between 30 and 40 cards per colour. Is my maths right on that?
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay. We'll pretend it is.
It's closer to 30 than 40, but yeah.
Yeah. So we're not going to see a lot more restrictions, just because restrictions would mean that there was only one way to build decks with the initial product, with the initial release. So I think the only real restrictions we'll see at that point, with a 60-card deck and having to put 2 colours in each deck, is I think we'll just see that as the main restriction.
Yep. Okay.
Brilliant. So there's a card that has been spoilt that tells us something about gameplay as well, and that is Hades. So Hades is in the gift set, and Hades is an 8-cost yellow king of
expensive. 8
Olympus.
costs. Yeah, that's like Brave Little Tailor.
Yeah. Same as the Brave Little Tailor. Have a look. Go on to Lorcana.com and have a look at the cards, because they've got some good mock-ups, because this one was only incomplete. But on the mock-up it says King of Hades, power or action or whatever we're calling the first number 6 and defense 7 is amber, yellow, and it's a floodborn villain, king, and deity. So 4 different type lines. He has the shift mechanic that we've seen previously on what's his name, Stitch, and for 6 you can pay 6 instead of 8 to put it on top of another character named Hades. Now, because of that, that's one thing that tells me that there's probably going to be more, that cards aren't going to be unique. You're going to be able to play a number of different Hades cards. We might see different Hades cards as that are all called Hades, but with slightly different.
Some would probably be less cost, because you wouldn't want to pay 8 and then pay 6 to upgrade the thing that costs 8.
Exactly. Yeah. That, you can't. I mean, that doesn't seem like a good gameplay. Either Hades is a bad card, or
so there's probably a Hades that costs between 1 and 3, I would guess. Yeah.
Let me just finish reading the card. I don't think the lore symbols are final on this. I think
we're calling these lore symbols, but we don't know that they're called lore symbols.
The little droplets on the
it's the Lorcana logo that also happens to be on the card. Yeah,
that's the one. Anyway, it says sinister plot. This character gets +1 pip. Lore symbol, whatever, +1 pip for each other villain character you have in play. Hades being a villain, but he doesn't count himself. The other thing that's really interesting, and we've seen this already with some other cards, is that it appears that Hades is color shifted. So Hades in the movies is blue with blue hair.
Yeah.
And here he's a yellow card with yellow hair. So I wonder whether we'll see a cheap blue creature called Hades, who you play out. And then...
Do you think the colour shifted one is better than the original?
Well, no, I think you play out the colour shifted one for 1 or 2 resources, whatever we're calling it, and then you play the shifted one on top for 6.
Okay, interesting.
Anyway, so that card, sorry, we're on gameplay and what that means. I've just explained the card when I should be saying what the card means. I think that particular card, as well as the Stitch card and other things, means that we're probably going to see three or four of each unique card in the deck as a deck building.
Do you think we might have 4 Olaf cards? That's quite exciting.
You could put 4 snowmen in your deck.
But do you think that will be in this first chapter?
No, not necessarily unique ones. I think you could have 4 of exactly the same card, Olaf card.
Okay.
So that's how it works in a lot of trading cards. You can have either 3 or 4 of each card. It makes your deck a bit more consistent. For the company, it means you have to buy more of the chase cards. But that's something we see quite a lot. And in Pokemon, you'll often see that where there are lots of different printings of enter card name Pikachu, I don't know. And you will have 3 of one printing of Pikachu and 3 of a different printing of Pikachu, because all Pikachus can be converted into Raichus.
Okay.
So I think that will be something. I don't know whether it will be 3 or 4, but I think that card kind of tells us that we're not going to have a singleton format. We're not going to have just one of each card in the deck.
Okay, and you're drawing that conclusion from that card because to shift the card, you need to find the original. So to find the original, you'd need more than one of it in the deck to have a good chance of finding it. Is that?
Yeah. And not just that, because of the pricing of that. Because I think that the Stitch card looked like you could have shifted it on top of himself, and that would kind of make sense, as it wouldn't be a terrible gameplay move. Shifting Hades on top of another Hades, if you've paid 8 for one, and then popping it on top of it for 2 less, and not getting 6 resources worth of value, it seems like a wasted time. The Hades card just only makes sense to me if there will be...
Yeah, and I would think when you put a card on top of another one, you lose the bottom one. That would be you lose everything that's underneath it. So otherwise, it gets very complicated very quickly if you start adding on the abilities on top of each other and things.
Yeah, I mean, in Pokemon, that's how it works. Pokemon Evolution, that's how that works. You've still got one thing. I don't think we'll see a massive number. As to how it actually counts in the rule set, no idea.
Yeah. Okay. Next thing from the starter decks is that we talked quite a lot about that there are 2 characters on the front of each deck box, and that says that it's not what we would call a commander style game. So you don't have one character that's the leader of your deck, that's the standout character.
Yeah, I think you've said a lot about how much they might want to capitalize on the popularity of Magic the Gathering's commander format by including other things like that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like they've done that in this case. There might be other things that are similar. But in particular with that kind of having a face to your deck, I think there's going to be lots of different things you can have. Or at least, from the fact that there isn't a face card on these starter decks.
Yeah, and the ones they've chosen, because you could have 2 face cards. So you could have Aurora and Simba as your 2 face cards, but that's a really weird combo, so I didn't...
It's not satisfying to the human brain, is it? I don't know. I feel like, you either want, here's something I've cleverly pieced together, or you want, this is this theme, and I've got all of the cards with that theme.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, here's Simba and Mufasa leading the deck, or if there were going to be 2 of them. Yeah.
So I spoke a little bit about colour shifting characters. We've seen Hades. Now, Hades, I'm only assuming is colour shifted, because he's currently in amber, yellow, but is normally blue. But we have actually seen one that is already colour shifted, and that we've seen art for a blue Maleficent as a witch, so not as a dragon. So we've got Maleficent in red as a dragon, and we've got Maleficent in blue as a witch. I'm assuming that they will both be called Maleficent because it's the same lady, same character. So we're seeing colour shifted. And I wonder whether this is where the Born things are coming in. So that there might be a Storyborn will be one colour, and the Dreamborn will be another colour, and the Floodborn will be a third colour.
Could be.
I'd love to see 3 of lots of different characters. So 3 Mickey cards, all different.
Yeah.
Maybe battling each other.
But then hero and villain, because Mickey can be a hero or a villain. So that could even shift the colours as well.
Yeah, and with Mickey, we've seen the red Mickey, the Brave Little Tailor card, and then we haven't actually seen the purple
Sorcerer
Mickey yet, but he's leading up a deck, so we're assuming there will be a purple sorcerer.
See, I was right when I said that there was a Sorcerer Mickey spoiled. It was just not for the right reason.
Yeah, we'll give you partial credit for that. B
Said very
minus,
reluctantly.
show your work.
You wanted to talk about the fact that there's 60 cards in the starter deck as well.
I mean, I wrote that down in the notes just because I had an unproductive discussion. No, it's fine. But you know how Twitter is. And I was tweeting away and then going, oh, this is from the podcast account. I should probably stop now. So there was a discussion going on about whether there being 60 cards in the deck means that there will be resource cards as part of the deck.
Okay, and the resource card is what you would use to pay for other cards. So, for example, we talked about how Hades costs 8, so you need 8 resources to play Hades.
Exactly. So some of these have them in the deck, like Pokemon, you have Pokemon energy cards, Magic the Gathering, you have land cards. Other trading card games, it has a resource system, but
it's not in the deck.
It's not in the deck. You're literally just counting up and tracking up. So we've seen there's tracker counters. That could be. It could be how many resources have you got.
That could be your ink, yeah.
That could be your inkwell. Cool. Imagine if it was a little cardboard inkwell with a little pen that you moved around to... Oh, I'd love that. Anyway, I'm getting off track. There's 60 cards in the deck. Some people were saying that means that there are therefore resource cards, that there might be ink cards or resource cards or lore cards, whatever we're calling the resource, in the deck that you have to draw to play your other cards. Because the most games that don't have the resources in the deck have fewer cards in the deck.
Do you know what Yu-Gi-Oh has?
So Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't have resources. You can normal summon one thing each turn.
Interesting.
I'm going to get a Yu-Gi-Oh player saying, actually, you can... I'm going to be like, yeah, I literally played an intro game once. I have no idea. But there's no resources at all you can play. It's like when we played Epic, where Epic you have 1 gold per turn. You can play one thing with which is 1 gold.
That costs the gold, and then lots of cards are free. Okay, so I'm gonna go with that. There'll be resource cards in the deck. You're
convinced by that argument. Well, I didn't say.
I'm convinced by the argument because Pokemon has that, and Magic has that. And so if you're looking at, well, what do the card games that sell the best have, and where are the designers of this game coming out of, and what's their background?
Yeah.
Then it seems like it's probably in the deck. Yeah.
So my argument online wasn't that it's not in the deck.
Yeah.
It was that it being a 60-card deck
doesn't automatically mean that it's in the deck.
Doesn't necessitate that. And they could definitely have a resource system or no resource system or whatever. Do you know what I mean? As in a resource system that sits outside of the deck or however the resources work, or discard cards for resources. Like Final Fantasy, 50 cards, no resources, but you discard cards to
pay for things. Yeah.
To pay for things. So, I just don't think it means that. However, I'm going to stake we're going to do a little wager now, only with no money, because we're going to be spending it all on Lorcana cards. So, I don't think that there will be specific resource cards. I think there might be cards that generate resources, but not ones you have to have in your deck to play any card. And the reason for that is that the number one thing that people want to fix about Magic is getting mana screwed, i.e. not drawing enough lands, or getting mana flooded, i.e. drawing too many lands.
So either your hand's full of resources, so you can't do anything because you don't have anything to play, or there's not enough resources in your hands, so you can't play things because you haven't got resources to pay for them.
Yeah, almost every Magic-alike game has tried to solve that quote-unquote problem. Now, I don't think it is necessarily a problem. It's a feature of the game. I don't think many people like it. I certainly don't.
Yeah.
But... Yeah, Final Fantasy trading card game.
Okay, what nudges me in your direction? Okay, so I've said one thing, but what's pushing me in the other direction?
Oh, no backtracking now, David.
I'm playing both sides, aren't I? Is the number of high-cost cards that cost like 5 or 6 or 8.
Yeah, but what if you get one more resource each turn? That's popular. That's like Marvel Snap has that. Hearthstone had that.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. I think that could be a feasible solution.
You just get an automatic, it's turn 5, therefore...
You've got 5 resources.
I have 5, unless I've played something special that gives me extra resources, I've got 5 resources to play. Yeah, I think that's...
Otherwise, it would be a very frustrating game with all these cards that cost 5 or 7 or 8 if you just can't get the resources to do them for like If you're because it could be you're on turn 7 or 8 and you can't still play a card that costs 5 in your hand
because you haven't drawn the right thing.
You haven't got the resources out yet. So
on that note, so I just mentioned that system, the one more per turn.
Yeah.
So on turn 1 you've got 1 resource, on turn 2 you've got 2 resources, and so on and so forth. Was Hearthstone and Marvel Snap. Do you know what those things have in common?
They're online games.
No. Oh, that's a good one. We've got to come on to that as well. No, more than that, there's something even more a communality, and that is that Ben Brode, or Brody, I don't know how you pronounce his surname, worked on both games.
And Ben Brode is working on this game, is he?
No, Ben Brode, however, contacted them on Twitter this week.
Oh, okay. And what did
So,
this person say to
you? Know when you
contacted Lorcana, is it?
Yes. So you know when you just happen to be following two different. I mean
he's
famous.
He's totally smashed it with Hearthstone and Snap, right? They're amazing games.
Amazing, which is why I'm excited that he's excited for Lorcana. I mean, maybe as a professional interest, he's looking at every trading card game that comes out. However, Ben Brode, I think. I just happen to be following, and I follow Disney Lorcana, so when Ben Brode tweets at Disney Lorcana, I see it. Said, hey there, I bought a promo cards at D23, but just checked, and they came with 2 copies of Robin Hood and no copies of Stitch. Anyway, I can get a replacement copy. Anyway, they basically said, yes, just email them. But it was that whole thing of like, oh, I know who that is.
So random. He's got a blue tick, and Lorcana don't.
Well, he pays $4 a month or whatever it is. I don't know. I don't know that. It's fine. Okay. So that's the kind of gameplay we learned from the starter decks. What else did we learn more thematically?
The movies that are going to be in the set a minimum because or characters from which movies.
Yeah,
so I counted them up.
More movies. Yeah.
I counted them up, and there's at least 12 characters from 12 feature films, then plus Brave Little Tailor. That was 9 minutes, so I don't think that counts as a feature film. So, and
but they've gone broad. They've gone really wide.
Yeah, in total, Disney has 61 feature films at the moment.
Is that things that they count as their?
Disney feature films is a thing. It's a category of things that they produce, and that's like 90 years or so that they've been going now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So to dip into 12 of those properties in your first product, that seems quite a lot to me, because if you're doing that on average per product, that's only 5 products, and you've touched every feature film, including the ones that people don't really know about.
So this is one of the things that I'm most excited about, because I think we're going to see these characters and others from the Disney universe.
Yeah.
But these characters, I think we're going to follow them through. This is called the first chapter. We're not going to see totally different characters for the second chapter, or at least I don't suppose we are. I think there'll be a storyline that goes through this.
Oh, interesting.
And that we'll have at least similar or
so
the same.
So do you think the storyline will explain the choices of characters in the starter decks and what they've put together?
Perhaps, yes. I'd like to see that. I hope it's that. But also we'll explain the colours that they're in and what on earth Floodborn means. Because we've been told Storyborn is from the movie and Dreamborn is like a reimagining. Floodborn, we have no idea what that is. It's just another category. So I think we'll see these factions somehow either at war or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shall I list off the movies?
Yeah, that'll be a good thing.
If anyone wants to add any others that they've noticed. So the ones I've noticed are Fantasia, that's Sorcerer Mickey, Moana, headline characters, 101 Dalmatians, because we have Cruella de Vil, Aladdin, Sleeping Beauty, Lion King, Frozen, Robin Hood, Peter Pan, Mulan, Hercules, Lilo and Stitch. And that's it. And then we've got Brave Little Tailor.
Then we've got, a Rodney Random tagged on the end there. Okay. Yeah, so that's what we've learned from the starter decks. So let's talk a bit more about products. Now we've talked about what we've learned, so let's look more at the products that were announced. I mentioned that in the starter decks you get a booster pack. And they've actually broken down what is in the booster pack with card rarities and things like that. You've just listed the movies, so I'll do the boring list of what's in a booster pack. You get 6 common cards for you pauper players out there, 3 uncommon cards, 2 rare, super rare, or legendary cards, and one foil card, and that's in every pack. You get that breakdown. The thing that made me, and the price for this we already mentioned is €5.99, so just under €6. In Germany, prices may vary in other regions.
Well, I think we can say that prices will vary in other regions because European prices include tax, sales tax, whereas in the USA, prices don't include sales tax. That's added locally or by the state, I think. I don't know how it works, but so that's a key difference, I think. So probably you can take 20% off in the US, so it would be about €5, $5. That would be my guess.
Yeah, which is, I mean, not that different to a regular booster pack of another card game. You get 12 cards, which some games give you 15, some games give you 12, some games give you less, fewer. However, I really like the breakdown they've got here, where there are 2 exciting cards in each pack, which are either rare, super rare, or legendary, and 1 foil. I think this is going to be like... Have you opened a pack of Pokemon cards?
No.
So when you open a pack of Pokemon cards, you get a foil, but the foil of it is of its own set. It's called a reverse foil. And so you can get reverse rare foils. You can get loads of different things, but the foil is of a different sheet. And then you can also get...
So you could get 3 rares. Is that the summary of what you're saying?
I think...
Get a foil rare
this has been
rares.
asked on Twitter, and they didn't... Disney Lorcana haven't responded that I've seen.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility to get 3? But I think the way they collate these cards, they print these massive sheets and then they collate them and cut them all together.
Yeah.
So I think that will be really interesting. The other thing that I think is interesting, that there are rare, super rare, and legendary, and the fact that they're kind of staking this claim on, okay, look, there's a chance that you can open something super special. The fact it's got a different name means that I'd like to think that this is super obvious when you open it. So something like the Pokemon cards, where when you open up a legendary, there might be 2 foils because that one's like a special treatment or a textured card or something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's super exciting. It means that when you open a booster pack, it's gonna be a fun thing. There's gonna be something to be excited about, even if there isn't any card that's worth any money or that you want to put in your deck. I think that's really important. Opening boosters is part of the hobby, and that's part of the fun.
Yeah.
And just being able to go, okay, so I'll open a booster pack, and I know I'm going to have something fun. I know it's not going to be a disappointment, which I feel like some trading card games.
Yeah,
I feel disappointed.
Generally, I feel disappointed when I open boosters. It's not part of what I do for fun.
No. Yeah, no, likewise, but that's because we play Magic the Gathering.
Okay, so there are better ways, are there?
We just like complaining. I mean, I guess the thing. So Bandai do it really well with their booster packs. That some of them have like God packs where every pack's a rare, and there's like, oh my goodness. But yeah, just having something that's interesting or that you haven't seen before. In every pack.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's really interesting. And keeping it relatively consistent as well. The fact that they've actually named these cards, because some trading card games now are going like loads of different variant arts, but there's so many different things. But there's 2, if everything's special, nothing's special, I guess. Whereas like in Pokemon, yeah, the child has actually opened a gold Pokemon card, which are I think he's done it twice now. And he doesn't open that many packs. He's just a spawny git. Anyway, but when you open that and you see the gold foiling, you're like, oh my goodness, it's something special. It's like you're going to see Willy Wonka at the Chocolate Factory. Yeah, all of my reservations about the starter decks and is this the right branding and are these the right characters and is this the right strategy? Booster packs, I've got none of that. I'm like, great, looks brilliant. I'll enjoy opening one.
Sounds good.
Will
you buy a whole box of booster packs?
Well, I'm less excited about So I'm assuming that there will be trade boxes of booster packs. No, I won't. Don't think I've ever done. I think I've only ever done that for Final Fantasy trading card game when it was super cheap.
Okay.
But no, I just don't think that's ever, unless the cards are almost worthless.
Yeah.
And usually when a game's dying, or when a game has had a massive pre-order and there's kind of like back orders and there's just warehouses full of the stuff. Yeah. Too much product. Unless there's product bloat, I just don't think that's ever a way to get the cards you want. because I probably just won't play half of the cards. I won't play half the colours. I won't be interested in half the cards.
Even though this is the very first set. See, that makes this a bit more exciting to me. That
You'll be opening a whole trade box, you think?
yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
fair dues. I'll enjoy looking through your bulk.
Yeah.
Anyway, the thing I'm less excited about, though, is they've also announced halfway house between just a booster pack of 12 cards and a trade box of probably 36 packs of those cards. They've announced the Illumineer's Trove.
I'm excited about the Luminous Trove.
I thought it looked good until I looked at the price. Okay, so if you play Magic, it's a fat pack. If you've played Pokemon, it's an Elite Trainer box. You get a storage box, useful if you're playing card games. You get 2 deck boxes. I would put money on the fact that these are going to be little cardboard fold-out.
Okay, that's part of the thing I was excited about.
No, these are going to be little cardboard boxes. Like, did you ever see the Keyforge Worlds Collide box? I mean, don't get me wrong, they were nice enough cardboard boxes, but they were cardboard boxes. That's my bet. Anyway, there's going to be 8 booster packs, 15 game tokens, and 1 player's guide, and it will be priced at €54.99, 55 euros. However, that's a long way from 48 euros, which is 8 packs times €6 a pack.
It's not that long way. It's €7 away.
€7 for a cardboard box.
So you get a storage box and the deck boxes and the game tokens. I don't know.
Okay, but go to your game shop and pick up a Dragon Shield, the box.
But you're not getting the Disney thing, Simeon. It's like the completionist. I want all the Disney things.
Oh yeah, I mean, enjoy all of the Disney things.
Yeah.
Personally, I would rather. That's the difference between 8 booster packs or 9 booster packs.
And I genuinely think these I understand what you're saying. They may just be cardboard, and they could well just be cardboard. But I think they might not be, because Ravensburger are producing deck boxes that you can buy as deck boxes.
Yeah.
So it could actually include 2 decent deck boxes that you might not be able to get elsewhere. So it could be like an exclusive that you get in this.
And the other thing that we haven't seen is the tokens. So in Pokemon, you get the plastic tokens with rather than the cardboard tokens when you buy the Elite Trainer box. And in Magic, you get foil resource land cards.
Yeah, so there could be some nicer tokens.
A nice spin down. Yeah. So there could be nice tokens or nice add-ins. So there could be something that justifies the price of the packs. I just guess I wanted a discount on the packs. I want a reason to go. I'm going to spend $50 or $55 or whatever it is.
Well, what's
rather
interesting
than
to me,
let me buy $20 and then see whether I like it or not.
Yeah, we haven't got a product description here, but the product descriptions I've seen, they're selling this as like the way into the game. So this isn't.
But you've got to buy a starter deck as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because you're not, buy a load of singles. Because 8 booster packs aren't going to have enough. Split between 8 booster packs of 12 cards split between 6 colours.
Yeah.
Means you're probably not going to have enough cards to build a functional or a good or the deck that you would want to play.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think it'll be popular. I think a lot of people will buy it as a kind of, I want to open some packs and this is a nice way to do it.
Yeah.
And then I've got a nice place a Lorcana branded box to put my Lorcana things in.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed by the price. I don't think you should ever sell boxes of booster packs when you could buy the booster packs for less money.
Yeah, they're calling it the ultimate treasure for collectors and players. And maybe it is more of a collector's thing.
Yeah, but then put collector items in it or announce it.
But I think it's a full art storage box. That's a collector's item to me. The storage boxes you get in other card games are pretty nice.
Yeah.
And then 2 deck boxes.
To me, the collector's thing is the next thing that we're going to talk about, which is the gift set.
Go for it.
So the gift set actually has collector cards. So it's Mulan versus Hades. And we'll talk about the cards in a second. We've already covered Hades.
Yeah.
But you get 2 oversized foil cards, which the oversized cards for Pokemon aren't really worth much at all. However, for some games like Magic the Gathering, some of those oversized commanders from a few years ago are actually creeping up in price. I think people quite like that kind of thing. Yep. It's a nice little display piece. There will be 2 playable foil cards. There will be 34 game tokens, including 2 tracker tokens. These are the things that we think might be resources or win condition trackers.
Yeah.
With 34 game tokens and 4 booster packs of 12 additional game cards. each. It's going to be $30, and it's presented like go and have a look at a photo. But it's presented like one of the big boxes of Pokemon, with you can see everything in the box in a plastic display thing, and that's why I think that's the kind of the collector's thing, because it will make a nice display piece. If you never open it, it will still make a nice display piece.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't enamored by this. I'm going to buy all the things, but this is the thing I'm least enamored by. It doesn't. I mean, I'm not into Milan or Hercules' movies, so that might be as well.
So to me, this is also only missing one pack to make it worthwhile. So there's 4 boosters, which tells me that this should be $24, not $30. But I think with the extra foils and the promos that you get, that's nice enough.
Yeah,
it
could be the only way to get these 2 cards, couldn't it?
Well, no. So
you asked them, did you?
No, I didn't ask them. I was literally going to ask them and thought, you know what? I'm going to do the responsible internet thing and Google it before I ask. Somebody said, and I popped it here somewhere. Doesn't matter. They had confirmed that none of the cards. Oh, it's up in the starter deck bit. I found it. Disney Lorcana, 17th of January, replied to James R. Heimer, who asked them. Yes, all the starter cards will be available in the boosters. There are no exclusive cards in those sets.
Yeah, that's in the starter decks, though, Simeon. You haven't.
But the fact they've been they were so adamant when the cards came out, the original cards for D23 came out, that these will be in. Don't worry, everybody can have them. These will be in the boosters. I think they might be exclusive art. It might have an exclusive stamp, or it might have an exclusive foil treatment.
Yeah,
and they could be exclusive promos. I know Pokemon do certain Black Star promos are, but then they're usually not super overpowered. They're usually collectors' cards rather than players' cards, which would make sense for Hades being so expensive, because Hades at the moment doesn't strike me as a card I want to play. Let's look at the other card, though, shall we?
The other card,
Mulan.
Oh yeah, tell us about Mulan, Simeon.
Mulan costs 5. Mulan is red, which is the only colour Mulan could be. Maybe they'll do a colour-shifted one now and prove me wrong. But this is main series Mulan on her horse, which has a name, which I've forgotten. Mulan, Imperial Soldier, 4 power, whatever, activation, whatever it is, and 5 defense. Mulan is a storyborn hero princess. Lead by example. Her ability is during your turn. Whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, your other characters get +1 lore this turn. I think this could be good, because lore is obviously significant, and if you have 3 or 4 things out, you've got a lot of lore. If you got 10 things out, you got a boatloads of it.
Yeah, the thing is, she costs 5, and she only has 1.
Oh no, I don't
her.
think we've seen the bottoms of these cards yet. I need to pick this up with Artem. At the moment, there are lots of cards which are previews cards.
Oh, so we don't know how much lore tokens.
I don't think we can see. I think we can see there's at least 1.
Okay, so
but
there's at least 1.
We haven't seen the bottom of this card yet. This is a mock-up.
Okay, so this is just people zooming in and onto the gift set and working it out.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is that many lore or not.
Fair enough.
But seems pretty solid, 4/5 for 5, pretty decent. But she does have to banish another something. So there has to be something. The other person has to be playing cards.
But that could be an ability that wins you the game that turn. I mean,
yeah, and also it's difficult without knowing the full rules to evaluate cards, because there are things that are like abilities on cards. Whenever another player does this, you get this. And depending on the game, that can be brilliant or dreadful. So, whenever another card gets banished in a challenge with this thing, is that going to happen every turn? Maybe. Is that going to happen half of the turns you play at? Maybe. I don't know. In other card games, it will be like, whenever another player draws a card, great, quid's in, you're going, you're going off. Whereas there are other things that, might not happen.
Yeah. Okay.
Great. I like Mulan much as in the mechanics of the card. The art on both of them are incredible, but I like the abilities of Mulan much more than I like Hades.
Okay.
Hades just looks like a do nothing to me. Great. So we move on to accessories.
Yeah.
I've got nothing to say about this. They're making card sleeves, they're making deck boxes, they're making playmats, and they're making portfolio little files. Any comments on
Well,
that?
previously you said that game producers shouldn't be the people that make. I don't know if you said it on the podcast, but you said it to me. You said that this should be something that's left up to the pros,
I have seen
i.e.,
a
the people
number-
that do it really well
Yes.
already. Yeah.
I have seen a number of substandard, in particular, card sleeves.
Card sleeves seem really hard to do well. There's just a
Yeah.
lot of substandard card sleeves in the world. But equally, there are some companies, and you can buy from them and know, yeah, I'm getting good card sleeves here. But
Some trading card games have the best of both worlds in that I can buy Ultra Pro sleeves. Ultra Pro are a company that I think most people would say are at the top of that. Ultra Pro, Dragon Shield seem to be.
Yeah.
A lot of people like those things. And they work with Magic the Gathering. So they make Magic the Gathering art sleeves. They're licensed products. They're more expensive than plain ones. I just think there's a lot of substandard products. Now, will they... This doesn't say who's producing it. It does say who will be on them. It will feature Captain Hook, Elsa, and Mickey Mouse. So I'm expecting those people to be relatively significant cards in the game. But it doesn't say who's producing them for them or if they're producing them themselves. However...
It does say they're matte finish, so they know what they're doing a little bit. Matte finish is good.
Yeah, okay. It does say that they're matte finish, but that also worries me because remember when Keyforge did the UK Open and our friend John went along?
I don't remember any of this, but tell me the story, yeah.
Keyforge did some big UK event. Our friend John got on camera,
Yeah.
played an amazing game. I can't remember what he played like. I don't know if he won or lost. I don't know. I'm sorry, John.
He played the game.
He played this on camera first table of this competition, of like the first big Keyforge competition, but he had to have specific sleeves for the competition. They had to be matte and they had to be of a specific thing or something like that. So the fact they specified matte, you know what? I mean, whatever. If you're playing a competitive level, buying a specific pack of sleeves doesn't really matter. But I do wonder. It always worries me when people when game companies start specifying that kind of thing, because we've seen that with so many games where it's just like a pointless tournament regulation. It's the same with Star Wars X-Wing, which we've both played. Like the tournament I went to, Star Wars have issued loads of different dice. Loads of special ones, and people buy the special ones because they're special, or have won the special ones at competition. But no, you had to use the standard dice that come in the base box, and you're like, well, that's fine, but it's just needless.
Well, dice, it makes a bit more sense, doesn't it? Because you could rig your dice.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
definitely.
I'm excited for the accessories, for the card sleeves. Like I said, I'm all in on collecting the stuff. The deck boxes are going to be the same character. Captain Hook, Elsa, Mickey Mouse. Playmats are going to be different.
Yep.
Playmats are going to be Maleficent, Maui, and Mickey Mouse.
Yep. Maui off of Moana.
So that doesn't quite add up to me that they've done different playmat characters to deck box and card sleeve characters, but because I guess it's the kind of Glimmer universe, isn't it, where it all comes together. But do I want my Captain Hook card sleeves on a Maui playmat? I don't know. That stresses me out a bit.
Yeah,
And portfolios. I love that they're doing portfolios because that's a collector's thing, right? So when I'm
definitely, yeah,
collecting cards, I want to collect my cards in the thing that they're meant to be collected in. So yeah, not just some file folder thing that I bought in some game shop. I want the proper
you see,
thing.
I'm the exact. I want something that nobody else has got. So all of my X-Wing cards are in the Lego collectible, the Star Wars Lego collectible cards. So I put those all in the Star Wars Lego
This is the kind of chaos that you get when you just don't have official portfolios, isn't it, Simeon?
Yeah, the amount of people there that stop me at competition are like, oh, what's that from? And you're like, it's a Lego thing. You wouldn't understand. It makes me feel super cool as a geek. Anyway, great. But what's missing? Okay, so we've seen all of this. I think we've already said, or I already mentioned about the starter decks, that I was disappointed that there wasn't like a lower entry point to play. For me, when I look at this kind of like, this is the initial lineup, these are the first things that are coming up. Maybe, I mean, they definitely will have more products before Christmas because that's how companies make money. But I'd love to see like a super low barrier to entry. Maybe they could be half decks. Maybe it could be
You buy a colour, you buy blue or you buy red or something.
no, like 2 half decks. So like a deck you could play against each other. So Pokemon have done this in the past with trainer kits.
I got it. Yeah. So so it's like a starter.
Yeah,
pack.
so it's a starter pack, super cheap, and you can learn to play. It's not a full gaming experience, but you learn to play, see whether you like it, and then if you do like it, these are cards that you could also take forward into the game.
Yeah, it's like it's like supermarkets have loss leaders, don't they? Like products that they sell for below cost or at cost to draw people into the supermarket, to get people there. And I'm just surprised that, I mean, maybe, but equally Ravensburger know what they're doing. So, but I'm surprised that they haven't gone for a lower price with these starter decks.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, it's yet to be seen what they'll actually be sold for as well, because street price can be different. And I don't know how that will work. That's just speculation at the moment. However, looking at the initial, it's not just the initial price, it's also the what do you pick up. And yeah, if a friend says to me, I want to get into the game, I want to try it, what do I pick up?
Yeah.
Then saying 2 of these starter decks, pick the ones you like, to play against each other.
Especially as it's Ravensburger and they've done Villainous and things like that, you think they would do, and maybe this will be out for Christmas or something.
Yeah.
Lorcana, big box game, you just get everything you need, you can play it with your friends, you don't need to buy anything else ever. But then that's a problem, isn't it? If you don't need to buy, for them it's like, well, you want them to buy other things, that's the point of
But
trading
these are
card games.
super cheap things to produce.
Yeah.
Like if you think of like the game night box that you bought for Magic the Gathering, 5 individual decks, that's cheaper to produce than a lot of board games because there's no plastic components really. There's no like there's no bespoke molding or anything like that. There's no miniatures. There's nothing. It's just a load of cards that you're making anyway. So I think that I look at things like the Keyforge starter boxes with 2 decks in and a little battle mat and the rules in and that kind of thing. The start. Don't get me wrong. The starter deck. I don't think there's anything wrong with
Marvel Champions is the same.
Marvel Champions has a box, and that's relatively pricey though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about £60 at the minute.
Yeah, that's But you could never buy anything ever again and have a dozen good evening of gamings out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The other thing that's missing, which you alluded to earlier, is at the moment we haven't got any confirmation of digital, and this is the one thing I've been scouring the internet, and every time digital is brought up, the Lorcana channel says we can't talk about that yet.
Oh, that's exciting.
But I don't see that. This was another discussion I got into on the Lorcana account, and then thought I'm going to log out of the podcast account, log into my personal account, carry on chatting where it's not going to affect anybody else. Yeah. Anyway, with that is that I don't see it. You either want a game coming out at launch or as soon after launch as possible.
Yeah.
Or you're going to wait to start development until you see if the game is viable.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think this might be. We haven't heard anything of it yet. I think we'd know by now. I think maybe this is in the pipeline, but it'll probably be a couple of years to see before they start developing it, which means it'll be at least 3, if not 4 years before we see it.
Yeah, and you want Ben Brode on that, right?
I don't know if I do, mate. Oh, he's a bit. Oh my goodness. All of his games are super high variance. Don't get me wrong, they're really fun, but they're super high variance luck games, aren't they?
But he knows how to implement a digital game. But
definitely. No, he's one of the bright minds, and he's into the game. He's interested enough in the game, not just to have bought it.
Gone to D23. That's dedication.
Well, he might have been there with work stuff anyway.
True.
Marvel Snap, Disney. Yeah, but he picked up one of the card things, and then bothered to swap out the cards. So interesting.
Yeah.
Not saying if the game designers are listening to this, we love you too. Just have a soft spot for Ben.
So are we going to talk about the new card that's not been released? That's a different information. It's come out in a tweet.
Oh yeah. there's an extra card. Tell me about the card. I've read out 2 cards already. I'm fed up with cards.
So this card came out on... It didn't come out. The information about it was released on January 13th.
Yeah.
And it's Jumba Jukiba. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Is a renegade scientist. So this... I've never seen Lilo and Stitch, but I understand this is a villain from Lilo and Stitch. Or a character from Lilo and Stitch.
Yes, this is a character from Lilo and Stitch.
And he or she, they are a dream-born alien inventor.
Yes.
That's all we know. Oh, and strength, power 4, defense, toughness 5.
Yes. We don't really know about this. The art is super cool. I think that's probably one of my favorite pieces of art yet.
It's one of my least favorites. So,
really?
Yeah.
I don't know what he's got a little orb thing that he's obviously made.
Maybe I'd enjoy it more if I'd seen the movie, to be fair.
I just love the character design. He's like a roly-poly thing with like 4 eyes and anyway, but he's got a device that is obviously creating something in like this little glass dome of the device.
Yeah.
And I just think it's cool.
I'm just waiting to build an alien-themed deck using Jumba Jukiba and the aliens from Toy Story. I think that's going to be me.
Amazing. That'd be good.
Not the claw.
Oh, brilliant. There's not a lot to say about that card. It's a 4/5 for 5. Sounds reasonable. Good.
There may be more stuff on it. We can't
see the bottom of the card like they've been doing. A couple more things on. We're just doing mop-up now. A couple of things on the release information. So we have the actual dates. The game will be available at local game stores on August 18th.
Do you think that's significant? That's before the general release, isn't it?
And then big box retailers will be September the 1st. They've done a number of tweets recently about local game stores. So organised play is going to be in local game stores. And they're releasing
So they're really wooing local game stores.
It makes sense. If you are a Target, Walmart, I'm saying these American shops like I've ever been to them. If you're Tesco's or Asda, you are buying this anyway if it's popular. If it's selling, you'll buy this. However, if you are...
Yeah, but you need to order it before the August the 18th to get it on your shelves by September 1st. They're not going to know.
No. But I think they're finding a reason so that those people are ordering it, they're not going to order it based on when they get it. But a local game store might go, oh, okay, if you're sending me some promo items and you're doing some posters for the window and we can have an event a week before it comes out on Amazon.
It gives local game stores a reason to get invested.
It gives local game stores a reason to see how it goes.
Rather than just say, not interested. Because I emailed my preferred games distributor this week.
You did?
And I asked them, can I pre-order some Lorcana? And they said, no, we're not stocking that. So...
They're not stocking it.
This isn't our local shop. This is my preferred online place in the UK. So I trust them because...
Hang on, this is not a secret. You got an email from them. Who is it?
Games Law.
Games Law are not stocking this.
They said that. I really like Games Law because they do a lot. So they said, and I asked them why, and they said, our focus, trading card games don't do well for us. So to be fair, their big thing is board games in general and Kickstarter project fulfillment. So whenever I've been wanting Kickstarter stuff, and they're really trustworthy in terms of, unless it's literally sitting there in their warehouse, they won't take an order for it. Whereas there are other companies online that they've said, oh, we'll have this in a couple of months, you can pre-order. And then 6 months down the line, like, where is this? And you have to email them and get your money back. And so I really like their way of doing business, which is why I contacted them to ask about Lorcana, but they're not going to have it.
That's good.
Because I can see there'll be some companies that potentially sell more than they actually get and then have to refund some customers, and I just don't want to be in that position.
Oh, yeah. No. When I pre-order this, it will be from somewhere where I know I can get the stuff from.
Somewhere reliable.
Somewhere reliable. But it's interesting that it seemed like that was a blanket no on trading card games. Or
they sell Magic, but they don't sell Pokemon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is they're looking to to get this in as many local game stores as they can. And that also fits with my kind of current line of thought, which is that they're trying to promote this as much as possible to trading card players. I think this is all the marketing seems to be a trading card game player, not Disney fan stuff. It looks like that to me anyway. Okay, before that, before the August the 18th, if you're free, what are you doing on the 3rd to the 6th of
I would
August?
love to be going to Gen Con, but that said,
Should we fly out to Indiana?
it's in Indiana, and we're not in Indiana. We're a long way from Indiana, and I'd rather just save that money for buying Lorcana cards.
Okay, so here's the deal, right?
And then there's going to be these exclusives that come out in Indiana, isn't there? That I'm just going to be like, I should have gone to Indiana, Simeon. These
So-
things are $10,000. We'd have got our money back. Not that I'd sell it, but
Okay,
yeah.
there's a couple of things there. Yeah, so if you haven't read online, the Lorcana trade show thing is going to be at Gen Con. It's the 3rd to the 6th of August in Indiana, and whereabouts I've no idea. I think it happens every year. If you're in America, you probably know what it is and where it is. The Gen Con will be. Here's the tweet from Zombie Judge on Twitter asked them about it, and Disney Lorcana tweeted back: attendees at this year's Gen Con 2023 will be able to buy select Disney Lorcana first chapter products. We do not have info on any promotional items at this time. I mean, they probably will have some kind of promo stuff, though, right? Whether it's a card or not, I don't know, but there'll be something to give to people that aren't buying it.
They've already done promo stuff, so why wouldn't they?
Why wouldn't they? Yeah, that works. Are you free though?
Am I free? Are you really tempted to go?
Oh, I'm not buying my own flights, but if someone wants to buy flights for me, I'll see you there.
I'm not buying flights for you, but if someone wants to buy flights for me, I'll see you there.
Sorry, that wasn't me asking you, David.
We're at a deadlock here.
No, not the two of us.
Oh, this is a subtle hint in the microphone to the universe out there that someone might buy us flights. Is that what you're saying?
It's not subtle at all. We're charming. We are lovely people, and for the low price of a return flight from Wales, you can spend the weekend with us. Anyway, beautiful.
That sounded wrong.
Sorry?
That sounded wrong.
What? I am absolutely delightful. Anyway, yeah, you know what? We'll leave David in Wales. He's not invited anymore. Okay, last piece of release news, and this is around the release, and this is a lot of people are quite disappointed about this. Disney Lorcana have confirmed, this is Twitter again, Lorcana will be available in the US, Canada, the UK, France, Germany, Switzerland, Austria, Belgium, and the Netherlands, and Luxembourg upon release.
So people outside those countries are disappointed, I guess.
They've had people from Spain and Brazil and Italy and Australia, New Zealand tweeting at them saying, is it going to be here? Sorry, we can't confirm when it'll be there. Is it going to be here? Sorry, we can't confirm.
Yeah, they're just saying upon release, right? Because these products go international pretty quickly. If people want them,
and this is the
buy them.
international world. If you're sat in Spain and you want to order something from Germany,
that's not hard.
that's relatively simple to do. However,
it's about local language, I guess, support or not.
There's been a load of tweet. If you're sat in another country and you want to know when it's going to be with you, then tweet at them. There's been a load of different things about language support as well, and which languages are going to be available in different countries.
Yeah, I suppose the more evidence they get of demand, the more likely they are to support those languages.
Yeah, I think there is going to be an initial bit at the start where this might be harder to get to. In particular, I really feel like South American trading card game fans have been shafted too many times recently. There are a lot of products from big trading card games that haven't come out there or that are really hard to get there, or distributors that I've heard in online. But yeah, I mean, there's probably reasons for that as to why, business reasons as to why they've picked those demographics. I'm sure you'll be able to get it everywhere eventually, but that's been the news that people are a bit disappointed. It's a smaller geographical release than I think a lot of people were expecting.
Should we play a game, Simeon?
What?
Do you have a game prepared for me this week?
I don't have a game for you, no. Thankfully, the child does. So this is, when a kid will just surprise you will just come up with something and just be like, oh, we should do this. I'm like, okay. So anyway, I've already pre-recorded a bit with the child. He's going to explain to you what the deal is. But literally, he just came up to me. I was like, I don't know what game we should do. And he was like, we're doing this. Like, he's executive producer of the show. It's the child.
Yay!
Hello, how are you doing today?
Good.
Right, so you had an idea. We were having a conversation, and then I said, I don't know what to do for a little game. And you said that you had an idea based on a conversation we had in the car the other day.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do?
We're gonna say what we think is the most evil Disney villain,
Okay,
and then we're gonna put it online so people can vote.
brilliant. So you think of one, and then I'll say one, and then we'll get David to do one too,
Okay.
and then we'll see who wins.
Okay.
What's the prize?
What's the prize?
As in, out of the three of us, who gets the most votes?
I don't know.
We'll have to think of something amazing. Who do you think is the most evil Disney villain?
I think it's maybe Darth Vader.
Darth Vader. Kind of Disney. Okay, I'll give
Yeah,
it to you
guess.
though. What do you think is like the evilest stuff he's done?
I don't know. He's popped some planets. He's he's
Yeah, popping a planet. Pretty evil. Okay. Any other evil stuff he's done?
he's murdered children.
Yeah, he did do a couple of murders, didn't he? Yeah. Yeah, he's not a nice guy.
No.
Is there anything he's done that you think, maybe he's redeemed himself a little bit?
Before he turned into Darth Vader.
Well, no, after he was Darth Vader, he did,
Yeah.
spoiler alert, he did, I mean, if it was in the 70s or early 80s, if you haven't seen it now, you're not going to see it. He did get rid of Emperor Palpatine, didn't he?
He got rid of Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah.
Which one's Palpatine?
The lightning fingers.
He did.
Yeah, he did that, didn't he?
Yeah. But he came back.
But he came back. Slightly less of a recent spoiler alert. Okay, right, my one. I think that the most evil Disney villain
Yeah.
is Jafar.
Jafar? Who's Jafar?
Jafar is the dude off of Aladdin.
I know Jafar. I don't know Jafar.
I don't think you've seen it. We'll have to watch it sometime. But basically,
I've watched Aladdin before.
oh, you've seen it.
That was
great. In
ages
that
ago,
case,
though.
you saw it where?
Ages ago.
Ages ago. So basically, he's the most evil because he didn't even want, like, he didn't have like a big scheme. He just wanted infinite power.
Now I know who he
Now,
is.
yeah, he just wanted all of the power, and I don't think he's got any redeeming qualities whatsoever, apart from maybe the fact that he has a parrot. The parrot's pretty cool. All right, so we'll ask David what he thinks when he comes to record,
Yeah.
and we'll put it up to a vote. Do you think you're going to win?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Depends what David picks.
All right, well, let's find out right now.
So my villain.
Your villain, what's it going to be, David?
If she doesn't scare you, then nobody will. It's Cruella de Vil. It's gotta be.
Okay.
It's gotta be Cruella de Vil.
I mean,
Cruella de Vil murders puppies.
and I mean, so I don't know what's more scary, Cruella de Vil or Cruella de Vil's hairdresser. But yeah, let's go with Cruella de Vil. Yeah, I mean, puppies are kind of nice, right? Everybody likes a puppy. Not everybody, but most people like a puppy.
Yeah.
That's kind of cute.
I'm terrified of Cruella de Vil.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the eye. When the eyes go pink and the little circles appear when she's driving
It's
the
just
car.
that she's willing to kill puppies. It's just like, who does that?
Are people who
does
like
that?
fine tailoring? No, I'm not defending this at all. No, you're totally right. Okay, so we're going to put this online. Oh, so, hang on. But we talked about redeeming features on the other ones. Has she got any redeeming features whatsoever?
She's funny. She's funny.
I meant as a person. As in that she might not be so evil. I haven't seen. Have you seen the Cruella movie? The live action Cruella movie?
I haven't. I've seen the live action 101 Dalmatians, which I think was one of the first ever live action Disney
Oh,
movies.
right,
Because
okay.
that came out when I was quite young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether the Cruella movie maybe gives her a bit of a sympathetic backstory or just makes us hate her even more. I don't know. We'll have to give it a go. Right. Okay, so this is going to be on Twitter. You can go to our Twitter account, which is at Lorcana Podcast, and there will be a Twitter poll there. There will be 3 options for the child who's voting Darth Vader as the worst and most horrendous, evilest person in the Disney universe. I've gone with Jafar. Dave has gone with Cruella de Vil. And the winner of the poll will get probably nothing, let's be honest. But world renown will get the pride of having got it right. I've really enjoyed getting some emails and some tweets, so we would love to get more emails and tweets. We have had some listener questions. These are questions from Twitter at ForksDownFreddy. Has asked us 4 questions.
4.
What do you think? We've covered some of these. It's okay. It's all good. This isn't going to be another hour.
I love that we get questions.
It's brilliant. I love it. Please send us more questions, people. It's at Lorcana Podcast on Twitter and TikTok, or you can email lorcanapodcast@gmail.com.
We're also on the YouTubes, and you can leave a comment.
You can leave a comment on YouTube. You can hit all of the like and subscribe buttons, and we'll love you forever. You can pay for our flights to Gen Con. There are so many opportunities to engage with this podcast.
The other thing is you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and say what you like or don't like.
That really helps us.
Yeah.
That really helps us to get out there to more people. Forks Down Freddy asks us, what do you think the timeline looks like leading up to release day? More card art, rules, video of gameplay, rarity scale, etc. So there are some things that have already been revealed. The rarity scale is on the booster information. That's already been revealed. They have common, uncommon, rare, super rare, legendary. So that's the deal. We've also had tweets from Disney Lorcana saying there will be how to play videos available. So from an accessibility point of view, yes, they've said spring, which could mean
anytime from
next
February
week.
to May.
Could be next week or 3 months' time. Who knows? Anyway, but from an accessibility point of view, that's so important to have how to play videos. And that's my favourite way of learning how to play board games. When I buy a new board game,
That's interesting that they're doing videos, because there's going to be a lot of spoilers, you'd have thought, in the video as well then.
We'll have seen a load of cards by then, right?
I'd hope so. Yeah, that's what I mean. That gives the impetus for lots more spoilers before the spring, which answers another question that Freddie asked.
Yeah. So our card art, I think we'll see a lot of cards and art now.
Yeah.
Moving into the spring, because these things will be in those videos anyway. We might as well have them as from a kind of PR and marketing point of view. You make as much as everything as you can. So, that might as well. And the rules have been confirmed for spring. Question number 2. If anything, what, if anything, will be exclusive to Gen Con? You think there'll be promos, do you?
Yeah, there'll be promos, and I'm going to say this is all speculation, so I'm going to say there'll be cards that are part of the promo.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll just be pin badges or something. I think there'll be cards that are exclusive to Gen Con, because why wouldn't you, when it was such a success at D23, to do cards?
Definitely. And I think anything but a promo card, or I think it might be
I think it's more likely to be a single card.
Yeah, a single giveaway. Anything but a promo card will be
the card will draw people in.
Yeah, once they
will be if people know there's going to be a card there will be people that fly from the UK, from Canada, just to get that card. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, and also that's I don't know. I was going to say that's a bargaining tool when it comes to the stand and how big your stand can be and where you are located. If you're
the draw for Gen Con now. Yeah.
But if you want a really big presence, then you've got to sell yourself. And if you say, look, we're giving away 500 of these cards and it's going to be an exclusive
and this is
thing.
What it was like when we did a D23,
you can, that sells tickets. Definitely. Okay. Question number 3. What are your best guesses for pricing for the items? Doesn't matter. We've already had that confirmed. So we've had the...
Yeah, but my guess is for USA prices is take off 20%, because German prices will include tax.
Yes.
And I think euro to pounds in the UK, that will probably be exactly the same. It will be parity. That would be my guess.
Yeah, I'm imagining so. I can't see it being much different. I don't know whether we'll see a street price being different.
I think Ravensburger will be pretty strict on you sell this at the price that we give you.
Yeah, or there won't be that much more. I mean, there's not that much markup in a lot of these things anyway for that play. But yeah, we might see that there are some products that get reduced slightly just because of availability or street pricing. That's fine. And then the last question is for, it just says December. It just says December Chapter 2 ? Now, oh my goodness, I saw something and I went back and
The
I've read
second chapter.
The second chapter, yeah. Will we see the second set?
The first
in December?
set is the first chapter, so it's the second chapter in December. Yeah.
I've gone through everything. Please, somebody help me. Post where I saw this, that there will be 4 releases per year.
That's in the original press release, way back when, before D23.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy. Brilliant. I get so glad because I've looked through everything recently going, I know, or I feel like I know it's 4, but now I'm doubting myself. Okay. So yes, I think that it will be, I think we'll see the Somerset in August, September time. We'll then see something before December. So I think we'll probably see late November, early December for the next set launch. I think it will feel super quick because it usually does with new card games. It feels like I've only just digested that and now there's something else coming out.
Exciting.
I'm excited. Great. Drop us a like, drop us a subscribe, do all of the things, press all of the buttons, write to us, do all of,
Share us with your friends who are into card games.
Please do. We're delightful. And and we can see you. No, okay, I'm gonna stop that. Okay, bye.
Bye.